Hi, I'm Colin and welcome to How to Paint Watercolors. So if you're ready, we'll get started and we'll paint this one. Hello and welcome back to How to Paint Watercolors with me, Colin. This is another Bob Ross one. It is called Light at the Summit. And these are for people who would like to paint Bob Ross, but unfortunately, due to ill health or any other problems that they have with being allergic to some of the stuff that is used. If you're watching Bob, we'll dive straight on in. Seaver's Blue. A lot of people will have trouble finding this colour. I'll leave a link in the description box to where you can get it from should you want to use it. Well, you can use alternatives. And I'm using Ken Bomley's own watercolour paints, artist quality, very reasonable price. I've just been checking a few different paint manufacturers out other than the normal ones that I use. Cerulean Blue and Seaver's Blue, and Cerulean Blue with a touch of phthalo blue in it just to darken it at the top. And being as we don't use liquid white, we have to arrive at the colours that Bob managed, the tone, by using other means or other colours, bringing these slowly together. Just drop a little bit in these mountains here, come in handy. Just take out some little light spots. I've got the board laid flat at the moment. I want to darken them up a little bit in the corners. And I just want to swoop in a couple of shots of lemon yellow just in the land, and a couple of shots of sap green and lemon yellow. Put a little bit more blue in here. I just want to lift out some of this blue, should be left behind. Now I'm going to leave all that to dry. Once that's dry, I'm just going to re-wet the background mountain here with some clean water. And just taking a little bit of the phthalo blue and cerulean blue with a little bit of burnt sienna in it. I'm going to drop this in at the top and allow it to drift. Darker along this kind of ridge line here, allowing it to fade in the middle to allow the sun to come through. Darker along the bottom. Just come straight through your trees, don't bother. Taking some darker blue of French ultramarine, cerulean blue and burnt umber. Start to bring in some blues into here. There's a tiny bit there. Just adding little bits of shadow, but to keep this. So I have got the board at an angle which allows this to drift. Taking a damp brush and just paling this in. Mopping up the bottom and taking some French ultramarine and burnt umber, allowing this to drift in. This will pull these mountains forward. Dropping some of the other mixture, and this is the blue, cerulean blue and French ultramarine, just allowing all this to come together. Just lifting a little paint, manoeuvring it. some of that blue to show through. And I'm going to allow that to dry. Oh, now the emulsions are dry. We're going to come back to the sap green and lemon yellow, and we're just going to add this back into the landscape. I've got 3 different colours of green. There's sap green and lemon yellow, sap green with some French ultramarine, and sap green French ultramarine with a touch of permanent rose in, just to really darken it. So I'm looking for the lighter patches in Bob's picture, and I just lifted out some paints with a damp brush from the trees just to let me know where they are. Going into the middle green, which is just a little bit darker. Now then, with the really dark green, we're just going to put some shadow lines in, just roughly where they are, or where they supposedly should be. Just allowing it to drift and all nicely merge together, darker in between these trees. Into that darker green, I'm just going to add some of the French ultramarine and burnt umber just to send it down really dark. That looks okay. I'm going to drop a few of these in. It's a little bit too wet to put it everywhere, or when I want it, but the heavy parts I can get in. And as the painting dries, we'll add to it on the other areas. That makes sense, just so it doesn't spread everywhere. I do want it reasonably dark. Very dark greens in these corners, shaping the land. Always remembering to soften off any hard lines that you've got. Back to my dark green colour again. We'll just see how we go with it. Darkening it, and just keep your eye on the spread. If you think it's going a little far, just stop and let the painting dry a little. I'm going to leave that to dry. This is still slightly damp, but I think we can carry on. What we'll do is we'll put the highlights in for these trees. So this is just some lemon yellow. Mop brush and just break it open. And then we have to leave that to dry. So while we're waiting for that to dry, what we'll do is I'm just taking a little, this is called Cotswold stone, and there's a couple of light areas in this path that I want to put in. Soften 1 or 2 of them edges off. Just a little bit of burnt umber with some French ultramarine. Don't be frightened of taking it into the grass. Some darker French ultramarine and burnt umber, almost black. See a really dark green again. That brush, soften it in. The dark streak in here. Softening it once again. softening the darker edges in so they look like shadows. Take any hard lines out. Going back to a big mop brush, and we can begin to add the foliage back in on here. Sap green and French ultramarine. And once again, I'm going to leave that to dry. Okay, we're slowly getting there, and we need to bring another rock forward here as it is in Bob's, so I'm going to take some French ultramarine and burnt umber, and we're just going to put that in. I'm just using water to actually do this with. We can add some stronger colour, allowing it once again to drift down. Allowing it to fade off and pale down here. Take some of the blue, just drop that in. And give it plenty of variation. Soften it into the grass. Taking some of the same colour, and I just want to bring some edges out on this path. Softening them in as we go. Just adds a bit of texture to the path. Then we can go back to our trees, taking some of the green, dark green, we can begin to add some in. Giving some of the sky to show through. Just going around the highlights to make them stand out. Trying not to cover them all up. Back to the Cotswold stone, I'm just going to put that in that tree there. French ultramarine and burnt umber on the other side. I'm going to allow this to drift over. Plenty on the brush. Just a few branches in, just on this side for the moment. Still waiting for the other side to dry, so whilst we're waiting for that, we will begin to add some real dark in now to bring these trees up a little bit. Just with a goat hair mop brush, just broken open. So I'm sorry, Bob, we didn't beat the devil out of any brushes. Just soften the tree in to the grass. Adding a little of extra dark in. Burnt sienna. This tree a little gnarly. Taking the branch through the trees. Same with this one, burnt sienna. French ultramarine and burnt umber. Darkening it up in one or two areas. Bob's got a little stick and twig here. Bits of grass to get a fence in. Just adding a little extra shadow in areas. Not forgetting one here. Just a little bit of burnt sienna again. Get that a little darker. Softening this into the grass. Damp brush. French ultramarine and burnt umber, really dark. Get plenty in there. Leave this to dry. I'm just going to soften this bottom in before we do that. Okay, then we're just going to leave that to dry. And I'm just checking some Chinese white and some of the Cotswold stone just to colour it slightly, and this is basically straight from the tube, and we're just going to try and introduce one or two highlights up and down these trees. That's texture to the trees. This is actually working better than I thought it would, but I think it's because I'm not after getting a pure white highlight. And I think I might call it a day at that. I could do more and more to it, but sooner or later I have to know when to stop. And this is it. So Bob, if you're looking down, I hope you've enjoyed this one. I hope everybody else has as well. This is where you get round to the really good bit now. This is where you get to sign it, put a mount round it and frame it. So I hope you've all enjoyed this one. If you have, please click the like button and subscribe. Subscribing is free. So once again, one from Bob Ross, Light at the Summit. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.